Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to show you how to program MIDI bass in less than 5 seconds. But before we get started, if you would like for me to mix your music, shoot me an email at divinemotherstudios@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you with details of your project. Let's get to the video. Alright guys, so I'm making this video because this is a video that I wish I had as a resource. A couple years ago when I started learning how to do programming for whether that was drums or bass. Those are very long and tedious processes, so anything I can do to buy back my time and give myself an advantage, I'm going to take that on. People may find programming drums and programming bass pretty fun. I do somewhat, but once I learned this technique, it made it a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable for me to do. So I have this 1-minute little clip here that I wrote. I'll play you a couple seconds of it. So we have Grove Bass from Submission Audio. There's no bass MIDI loaded up on any of the tracks just yet. And the trick is basically to just take your guitar DI and run audio to MIDI with that DI. Now, unfortunately, not all DAWs are going to be able to do it the way that I'm about to show you guys. Studio One itself also doesn't do it the way that I like. I had to use a third-party plugin called Melodyne. And I believe the lowest tier is $50, and it's well worth it in my opinion. It's a tuning software, but it also allows you to convert audio to MIDI, and it actually registers the notes that you hit as well. Now, let me show you why I much prefer to use Melodyne over my DAW's stock audio to MIDI algorithm or whatever. So here's my guitar DI. Let me just turn off the amp simulators here. And here's what that sounds like. So a pretty basic guitar DI. And Studio One under the Quantize panel has this groove thing, which is their version of audio to MIDI. So all I would have to do is just drag this DI track to the add to groove pattern thing. It's going to analyze it. It's going to see where all the notes are at. And then from there, I can just drag that to the MIDI track. And then you just got this MIDI now that is velocity and also has its timing humanized as well, which is pretty cool. The only problem is that we have it all on one note. So either way, I would still have to go in there after the fact and then just adjust all the notes individually, that they're hitting the right frets and the right notes so that it matches with what the guitar is playing. And that is not really what we want here. That would just take just about the same time as if I was to just go in there manually and then actually just select the correct notes for the MIDI bass. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. And I'm going to go in and use Melodyne. And then Melodyne, because of the way it's integrated with Studio One, it's just going to go ahead and analyze my guitar DI. And then as you can see here, if I zoom in here, you can see the MIDI notes that have been selected and created. And if I was to just zoom out and then drag that on to the MIDI bass, voila, there you go. You got yourself some MIDI bass now. Go ahead and just play that for you guys. Now, there's still some minor timing issues. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but all you have to do is just highlight all of them, quantize them so that they're on the grid, and just kind of double check your work, and then there you go. That has solved the issue. We still have a problem with the note lengths, so all you would have to do is just go to whatever your MIDI editor is in your DAW, and then for Studio One, that would be overlap correction and legato. I would just set it up to where they start touching back to back. Just zoom in to double check, and there you go. I have just programmed bass in 5 seconds. So as you can tell, it's very quick and very fast and very efficient. From here, I would just be more of an editor than a programmer. I would just go in and just make sure every note was correct. But for the most part, it has done 90% of the work for me. So that's how I program my bass in literally less than 5 seconds. Let me just rewind all of these steps for you guys so you guys can just see how fast that is in real-time action. Again, I'm gonna just go here, highlight my guitar DI, edit with Melodyne. Melodyne's gonna analyze it. I'm gonna drag it onto my MIDI bass track, highlight everything, hit quantize, go to the legato and overlap correction, hit that, and there you go. In less than 5 to 10 seconds, I have programmed my MIDI bass. Basically from here, I would just go in and double check all the notes that are correct, or they kind of sound a little wonky. I did hear one in there somewhere, but for the most part, 90% of the track has been done. It's taken me just 3 basic moves. So now that we have our MIDI bass, let's just check it out in the mix. I don't have any processing on the bass whatsoever. It's just the straight DI that comes off Grove bass. So again, it's not a perfect system as you last heard those notes there, but pretty much 99% of it is done. I just got to go in there and check a couple notes, and that's it. It's how I program MIDI bass in less than 5 minutes. Now, I did promise you guys to show you how I would do it if it didn't have the function built in Studio One, where Melodyne can basically just be stacked onto the track. I would just add it as an insert on my plugins. So I would just type in Melodyne to find the plugin. I would pop it in here. And the only drawback to this method is that you do have to play it front to back. So you would have to play your entire song and then just have Melodyne capture it there. And then that's when you can just export under settings as save as MIDI. You would save it to wherever your project file is as MIDI, and there you go, you have some bass MIDI done. So let me just quickly demonstrate how it would capture the guitar DI if it's just put as an insert on your track. You have to hit this transfer button here. It's now armed just like you would with a regular track. You would just hit play. And there you go, it has now captured and recognized the notes and the velocities. All I would do then is just save as MIDI. I'm gonna just put that on my desktop. Let's go over to our MIDI bass, which is right here. I'm gonna go ahead and drag it. And now I have imported the MIDI bass that Melodyne has captured here. So really, really simple. I wish I had learned this tool when I first started, because I would spend hours programming bass, trying to get it right, and it was super, super annoying. And here's the cool thing is that with Grove bass, to save even more time, you can have the humanize function turned off completely, just because this is already humanized down to the velocity and the timing. But you want to add more realism, you can just turn this knob up and just have it turn more humanization on within the program itself. So you could just absolutely zero out the velocities on any of the MIDI bass that you have created and just have the program from Submission Audio take care of that portion if you'd really like that as well. So you have a lot of variety and a lot of options available to you with this trick. So give this trick a shot if you guys have Melodyne. If you guys don't have Melodyne, I highly, highly recommend it. It saved my ass many, many times. And just for the ability to save hours of time alone, I believe it's worth the $50 that you get for the lowest tier, just to be able to program bass very efficiently. So leave me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.